Welcome to my channel. This is Psychological Warfare 3. Most military tactics focus on physical force, bombs, bullets, tanks, all designed to destroy or overpower. But there's another kind of warfare that can be even more devastating, one that attacks not the body but the mind. It's an unseen battle fought not with weapons but with ideas, with rumors and propaganda, with images and audio files, all designed to influence how people think, feel, and behave. This is psychological warfare, and it's been around for thousands of years. Back in ancient times, the Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu recognized the importance of deception. In his famous book, The Art of War, he wrote, "Appear weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak." He knew that by controlling how your opponent perceives you, you could gain the upper hand even before the battle began. Fast forward to World War II, and we see the use of propaganda leaflets dropped over enemy territory. These leaflets spread rumors, sow discord, and demoralize the population. Imagine coming home from a long day's work to find these leaflets scattered across your front lawn, whispering tales of your army's imminent defeat. How would that make you feel? Betrayed? Hopeless? Scared? During the Cold War, the stakes were even higher. The threat of nuclear war loomed large, and each side tried to outdo the other in spreading misinformation. One tactic was to broadcast false reports of impending attacks. Picture this. You're a civilian going about your daily life when suddenly your radio, which you always tuned into the same station, starts broadcasting a chilling message. This is your final warning. In 10 minutes, the bombers will strike. What would you do? Panic? Run for cover? Try to find someone who could provide clarity amidst the static? That was the goal of these broadcasts, to create chaos and confusion in the minds of civilians. But it's not just about instilling fear. Psychological warfare can also be used to undermine unity. By exploiting existing divisions within a society, it can turn neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend. It's about creating a climate of suspicion where no one knows who to trust. Now, you might be wondering, why not just ignore these tactics? Why not tune out the propaganda? Brush aside the rumors? Because, here's the thing, they don't just want you to hear their message. They want you to believe it, to internalize it, and to act on it. They want it to become part of your everyday reality. And the most effective way to achieve that is to understand the psychology behind it. In 2014, researchers at the University of Cambridge conducted a study on propaganda during the Syrian civil war. They found that people are more likely to believe propaganda if it's delivered by sources they perceive as credible, if it confirms their existing beliefs, and if it plays on their emotions. So the next time you come across a piece of propaganda, take a step back and ask yourself, who created this? What are they trying to achieve? And how is it affecting me? Let's delve deeper into the core methods of psychological warfare and the psychological mechanisms it exploits. First, let's look at propaganda and misinformation. It's everywhere. In the news, on social media, in TV shows. It's information designed to influence your opinions or behavior. Sometimes it's blatant and obvious, while other times it's hidden and subtle. Think about those fake news articles or doctored videos that spread like wildfire on social media. Or how about those seemingly innocuous advertisements that just so subtly push certain products? Then there are rumors. They spread like wildfire, carried on the winds of uncertainty. Rumors are pieces of information that are passed around, often without any solid evidence. They thrive on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Remember that classmate who swore he saw a ghost in the old school building? Or the neighbor who insists there's a secret tunnel under the park? Rumors can be harmless, but they can also be dangerous. In wartime, they're weaponized to spread fear and misinformation. False flag operations are a bit more complex. They involve deliberate deception, creating a situation that's designed to look like it's coming from one source, when in reality it's orchestrated by another. Picture this. You're watching the news, and a breaking story unfolds. A major city has come under attack, and the footage is shocking. As the story develops, it becomes clear that this attack was not sanctioned by the country's government. In fact, it seems like it's the work of a rogue element. Perhaps a group of disgruntled soldiers or a radical faction. But as the investigation deepens, it's revealed that the evidence was planted. The attack staged. The real perpetrators are nowhere to be found. These tactics are more than just deception. They're carefully crafted illusions, designed to shift blame, create confusion, and distract from the truth. They're like smoke and mirrors in the world of international relations. You're left questioning what is real and what is fake, who to trust and who to blame. And it's in this confusion that psychological warfare thrives. Cyber-psychological tactics are the newest addition to the arsenal of psychological warfare. In today's digital age, the internet and social media have become new battlegrounds. Imagine sitting at your computer scrolling through your news feed, when suddenly a barrage of notifications floods your screen. Your phone vibrates, incessantly bombarding you with breaking news alerts. Emails with urgent subject lines pile up in your inbox. Each notification, each alert, each email is designed to grab your attention, to make you click, to pull you into a vortex of information overload. In this state of constant connectivity, it's hard to discern what's important and what's not. You're bombarded with so much information that you start to tune it all out. You become numb to the flashing headlines and the urgent pings. This is exactly the state that those behind these cyber-psychological tactics want you to be in. When you're paralyzed by the sheer volume of information, when you can't make heads or tails of the constant barrage of notifications, you become vulnerable to suggestion, susceptible to manipulation. You're more likely to believe what you want to believe, to accept what you want to accept, without really questioning it. All these tactics are designed to manipulate your perception, to create a sense of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They exploit your cognitive biases, the natural tendencies of the human brain to interpret information in a certain way. It's like the brain has these mental shortcuts that it uses to process information quickly. But these shortcuts sometimes lead to errors in judgment. For example, there's something called the availability heuristic. It's the tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled. Picture this. After watching a series of news reports about cyber attacks, you start to feel like the world is a dangerous place. You become convinced that every online transaction is risky. Every email could be a threat. Suddenly, you're bombarded with images of viruses and malware, even though the actual risk might be low. Your brain is playing tricks on you, making you feel like the sky is falling, simply because the news has made it seem like a real possibility. The impact of psychological warfare goes beyond mere persuasion. It aims to break down your resistance, to erode your defenses, leaving you open to suggestions that you might not have otherwise considered. In essence, it's about taking away your ability to think critically, to analyze and make your own decisions. Instead, it wants you to react, to respond, to act in ways that are dictated by fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Psychological warfare thrives on fear, preying on your deepest anxieties and insecurities. It exaggerates potential threats, distorting them into monstrous figures that lurk in the shadows. Fear becomes your constant companion, whispering doubts in your ear, making you question what you see and what you know. But fear is only one piece of the puzzle. Uncertainty is another. Psychological warfare thrives in the gray areas, in the ambiguous situations where the outcome is unclear. It feeds you bits of information, just enough to raise questions but never quite providing the answers. It keeps you on edge, unsure of what to believe, unsure of what to do, unsure of what lies ahead. And then there's doubt. Psychological warfare plants seeds of doubt in your mind, making you question your own judgment, your own memories, your own experiences. It creates a fog of confusion that obscures the truth, leaving you unsure of what is real and what is fake. These tactics are not just abstract psychological concepts. They're used in real-world scenarios, with real-world consequences. During conflicts, they can influence how civilians perceive the opposing side, shaping their attitudes and behaviors. But the effects of psychological warfare go beyond the battlefield. They seep into everyday aspects of our lives, from the products we buy to the opinions we hold. For example, advertising is a form of psychological warfare. Advertisers spend countless hours studying consumer behavior, trying to understand what makes us tick. They know our likes, our dislikes, our needs, and our desires. With this knowledge, they create ads that are designed to influence our buying habits. Think about the catchy jingles that get stuck in your head, the celebrity endorsements that make you feel like a certain product will improve your life, the emotional appeals that tug at your heartstrings. All of these are tactics of psychological warfare, all designed to make you buy a certain product, to make you believe that you need it. As we navigate this complex landscape, it's crucial to be aware of the ethical questions surrounding psychological warfare. Where do we draw the line between influencing minds and manipulating perceptions? How do we balance national defense with psychological abuse? And what are the long-term consequences of living in a world where psychological warfare is commonplace? So here's the key insight. The true battlefield of psychological warfare is not on the ground or in the air. It's in your mind. It's a war of ideas, of perceptions, of beliefs. It's a war that you may not even be aware of until you find yourself caught in its web. The goal of psychological warfare is to create chaos in your mind, to make you question what you see, hear, and feel. It's about turning your thoughts against you, making your own mind a battleground. The question is, how do you defend yourself against an invisible enemy that attacks not your body, but your soul? How do you protect your mind from the weapons of psychological warfare?